We're live. We are live now.
Welcome to Farmhouse Fabrics
Yes.
with Sally and Connie Palmer.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So Connie lives in Virginia now, but she is back we're on the Augusta area, although we're Beach Island, South Carolina. She is in the North Augusta, South Carolina area because, why? Dun, dun, dun.
I have grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And last night we had big doings at the ballpark, because it was senior night. And, Carter. Most everybody knows Carter.
Yeah.
And it was, he got to walk on the field. And then even the little kids got to walk on the field.
Did they get to walk?
The rec center kids that are playing. And my
Oh.
other great-grandchildren play for the rec center, and so they got to walk on. Those are your next people coming up,
Yeah.
So it was really nice.
So
Yeah.
Carter's in the band.
Right.
And he
Marching
plays in the marching band, and his band director is Mr. Chuck Dean, and Mr. Dean was the band director of the high school where my boys went to school, and they won awards,
All kinds of
awards. And then since he's been at North Augusta High School, they won state, and they won state, or
They didn't win state.
They're
They
going
won-
to state, right?
They're going to state the end of the month, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm coming back on the 28th.
Good.
And
Yeah.
FYI.
Okay, put her on the calendar.
But they had a competition last week, and they won everything.
That's
won
great.
first place all
Yeah,
around,
that's
so they
great.
did really good. They were so
Yeah.
proud of themselves.
So what does he play?
He plays the mellophone in regiment band.
So
But
tell
he
me what a
plays
mellophone is.
It looks sort of like I would say more like a trumpet kind of thing.
Okay.
But he plays the French horn in band.
Oh, you have to be smart to play the French horn. That's what they always said.
yeah.
You have to be real smart. Matthew played the French horn, and I remember that when they first were learning how awful it sounded like.
Oh,
it sounded like
it was
a
horrible.
sick cow or something
He'd
like
go
that.
out in the garage and play, and we're all going,
But when they get good at it,
that is good. But
it's like, whew, but boy,
Whew.
those getting started
yeah,
is
no,
something, isn't
it's
it?
amazing. It's really amazing. But
Man.
they hang on, and he's loved every minute of marching band. I mean, really every minute.
It's great for him.
But Mr. Dean is really good to those
Yeah,
kids. He
yeah.
really is. He keeps them in tow, and
Yeah.
I don't know how. So
Well, I love it. I love
Yeah.
when kids are involved
I do
in
too.
extracurricular activities that are legal, and
correct.
one of my boys one time, and he was like the angelic one. So I never really thought he was doing. And so one of my neighbors said, "Hey, how's that still going that Daniel's building?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Daniel is Daniel, not Daniel." And all of a sudden I thought, well, that's why he took all my potatoes.
Ah,
That's-
yeah. It doesn't register with you.
You know? So
Oh.
anyway, we love our grandkids and kids and
And if
great
you have
grands.
boys, you get it.
Yeah, that's right. If you know, you know, right?
I know last night I had the two little ones, and now just picture this. Michelle and Ben are on the other side of the field. They're only
Michelle's her granddaughter.
they're only about this high if you were
Oh,
looking over there.
yeah.
Now, we're in the stands, okay, and there's not many people there because we're there early.
Uh-huh.
So I have the 8-year-old and the 6-year-old. Now, there's no people in the stands, so they're just running back and forth across here. Ring, 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 ring.
Oh, those are their parents
between-
calling.
Stop them from running up and down.
It's like they're having a good time, aren't they?
There's no people.
Yeah. What is wrong with that? Let them enjoy themselves.
I know, because there's going to be people shortly, and then they'll have to sit down. But I was
I
like,
know.
you're watching this?
Yeah. What do
Seriously?
they have? They probably have their phone and they've
right.
magnified it. Like, what is
But
she
I
watching
know
there?
that you could see them because the stands are empty. And there's the kids go back and forth, and I'm like, oh Lord. But
Well,
again, let's
here we
go.
are.
I know, here we
Let's
are.
get
I gotta
serious.
Hush up, yeah.
Let's get serious.
Yes, okay, good.
Okay.
Let's rock it.
So, Connie has enjoyed reading all of your questions for her.
Yes.
And she was scribbling little
Little-
answers and things like that. And tell them, give them some ideas about what
Okay.
you've seen.
Oh, it was very funny. But most of these things have happened to me, so that's it. you know, this first one said, you have any tricks for or tips for matching plaids? I would say glue pen.
Oh.
You know, so, you know, I would glue those plaids together and then sew the seam because then it's not going to slide.
I never even thought about gluing it together.
Oh, I glue. Oh, glue
Oh.
is just a miracle. So that was by Aunt Debo.
Okay.
So thank you for that. And then pin tucks, there was a lot of people that wanted to see pin tucks. I know we've done pin tucks before, but we'll do them the next time I come because that was going to take a little more time to get ready.
But also, Connie, tell them that you have some of these tips and tricks on your YouTube page.
Right. I have a YouTube channel called, I don't know, is it called a channel? I don't have any idea. Yeah, they're going yes.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm up to speed. You can
There
see.
you go. That's good.
It's called Connie Palmer's Sewing. So that's
It's
what's
just
called.
Connie Palmer
Sewing. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's me.
Easy
It
enough.
is easy
And
enough.
plus, Emma will give you a link.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of you wanted the bishop placket. And my way of doing the bishop placket, it's, you know, this is just, because I've had to teach people, I try not to make things too hard. So it might not be your treasured way, but this way, I'm telling you, will work every single time and not scare you to death. You know, so you could get through it. So that, I know that's on the YouTube. So you could watch that. And we'll do it here one day.
This is a bishop that Connie made
Long time ago. So.
probably 25 years ago, right? And always, we were probably going to sit here and
we were going to smock it.
But anyway, and so the placket is in here. What we'll do is we'll go to the overhead on YouTube and Facebook. And
I'll turn it right.
where's that pointer thing?
It's over here.
Okay. All right.
You go.
And you can just take a peek at it. Here we go. And then pull it a little towards you. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
So you can see, once you put this placket in, you put the right side on and the left side on, and then you connect the bottom and sew up your seam. And then you can press your seam open.
You know, it's kind of like putting an invisible zipper in.
It is sort of like that, but it's very easy. And
I
you
love that. So this is just a folded over piece, and that's
right. So it's two separate pieces
You
rather
know, I
than a
never knew that.
continuous.
Yeah.
Because a continuous, my beginner people would always get a hole here.
Yeah.
And that's very frustrating to
Yeah,
somebody
it is.
that's just learning.
That's right.
They want to have it good.
Yeah.
They don't want a hole.
Well, that looks great.
So we'll do it so you
Okay.
can ask questions, but
Yeah.
it is on the
So they'll
YouTube.
be able to see it on
Yeah.
YouTube.
And I think tucks are on there too. But we'll do tucks again. Fancy band was another one.
Back to the plaids for a second. Somebody has a question.
Sure.
She said, what kind of glue?
Sew line glue pen. Thank you for asking that. This is my tried and true glue because I know it always would. No, it's not glue.
No, that's
This
Where's
is-
it? There it is.
It's a marker.
Yeah, tried and true.
This would be it.
I knew that.
You knew that. Because I know this dries very quickly. I mean, you can't fool around. I mean, you have to put it on, stick what or you're going to stick together. Because it'll dry quick. But that's good because then when you go to sew, you're not going to mess up your sewing machine. You're not going to gum it up. And some glues, you have to wait till they dry. You have to press them. I'm not that patient. So I'm always in a hurry. So I've used this forever and ever. And it washes out. First time you wash it, it'll wash out. So.
And it comes in different colors.
Yes.
There are refills that, but even when it shakes out white and turn,
They tried to
even the blue,
confuse me. They tried to confuse me. So, this one, let's see what color.
Oh,
this
now
one is.
this, I thought they were really dumb to do this.
I know that.
Because
They didn't
this
ask us.
No, this is really blue, but they have a pink lid on it.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that ridiculous?
Well, you can't see that.
Yeah.
There's blue in here. There's blue in
Yeah.
your pen, and then there's blue here.
Yeah. So it comes with the blue.
Yeah.
But it comes in pink and yellow.
And yellow.
And
The
maybe
pink, yellow, and
white.
blue. No white.
Oh, okay.
Pink, yellow, and blue. I don't know. The only thing that I can think of is if I was doing something that I had to trace, like maybe bias shaping, and so I drew it with a blue pen.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to put blue on top of the blue pen because then you
Right,
can't see the
right.
line.
Yeah.
So I would go with another color.
Yeah.
They all work exactly the same. Now I
Mm-hmm.
will tell you, and so I don't want you getting scared and calling up Sally. That the minute you wash it, because I usually, I'm washing all kinds of stuff all the time. The minute you put it in the water, the yellow gets highlighter yellow
Oh, wow.
color, and it'll take a few minutes for it to come out. If you just wash it out by hand, if
Mm-hmm.
you throw it in the washer, it's going to come out. But it'll get really bright, which I've the first time I was, scared
Yeah.
that it was going to stay, but it washes out, so you don't have to worry. Just keep plugging at it, and you'll be all right. But that's the best one, and get several refills. Don't just go with the one refill in there because you'll use it all the time
You know what?
for everything.
You want me to tell you how cheap I am?
Do you sell it?
Yeah, I do sell it. But I didn't want to open the whole package because I couldn't find my glue pen. I didn't want to open the whole package. So I went to a refill and I opened a refill and got that and pulled that out and did it with.
Swear to you. One day this is some ruler came out. I don't remember what it was, and I'm not even going to go there. But she said, "Well, we could just make that out of cardboard." I said, "Do you sell cardboard?" Do you sell cardboard?
Okay.
No, I get it. Okay. Somebody else says, okay. Okay, so Pentucks, and we'll do those because I love Pentucks. I do a lot of them. Fancy bands. There were several people that wanted fancy bands. We'll do that too. Piping. We'll do piping. That'll take only a few minutes. Now, there was a lot of zipper people. A lot of invisible zipper, a lot of regular zippers. So we'll get to those. I had to go for the fastest one today to get ready. Because
she didn't know until yesterday.
Right, I was going to
She
do
was
this.
going to be here.
Making
But
buttonholes.
you're going to love what she's doing.
Making buttonholes. Let's see. My biggest accomplishment so far is quilting quilt tops that I started.
Wow.
Yeah, I usually send mine off. So
Yeah.
that's a
That's
big
a big
accomplishment. I did one. That was one of the ones nope, I'll send it off.
Wow.
That's too much on my shoulders and all. I'm scared to do pin tucks. We'll get you in the groove on that one. Blocking techniques on a bishop, neck bands, pin tucks again.
Because I think your neck bands are really beautiful.
Thank you.
They're very tiny and,
Yeah.
and pretty.
So I have tricks for that.
Yeah.
Bound buttonhole, not me.
No, me neither.
We've already nope.
You need to go to Gail Doan
Gail
for
Doan,
bound
right.
buttonholes.
Yeah.
And Gail's on the front cover of
Of-
the newest
right,
classic
Classic
sewing,
Sewing,
which
it's
we haven't
beautiful.
received yet, but
Yeah.
I just saw a picture.
Yeah.
And
Not to be ugly, but we hadn't received it yet.
Yeah. Where is ours? Where is it?
Not to be whining.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's see. Fred.
Oh,
I just wrote LOL.
okay. That's for Fred Ferris.
Yeah, LOL.
His toughest technique
Yeah.
was surviving.
9 years of menopause adventure with his wife.
Denise, how you put it?
Yeah.
How you put up with him? Oh my goodness.
Another placket on the bishop. Invisible zipper. Bound buttonholes. Lace shaping techniques. Shell stitch. We can do that, but not by hand. It'll be by machine. Everything I do is pretty much by machine, so you'll have to
And
find.
beautiful.
See, there's a hand shell stitch. That would be someone else.
That would be Jeannie Baumeister.
Jeannie Baumeister.
Mhm.
So let's
Yeah.
see.
And
Perfect
Jeannie
Princess.
Baumeister is the owner and designer of Old Fashioned Baby Patterns. Does a beautiful shell stitch.
Here's a question from Diane Mosley. She purchased the PDF pattern, my buttons and bows. But she has a question. She has the pattern, but no instructions. So you're going to have to call Robin or email Robin at Hoffman Media. She will fix you right up, I promise.
Good.
So, sewing entree to gathered lace. Actually, sewing gathered lace to entree. That would be, that's easy. I got the tricks for that. Yeah. Quick point rulers. I'll tell you, Janet Platt has a live ruler show every day, Facebook. I mean, every
Really?
week. Oh, yeah, every week. So
Okay,
go to
so what is that? Janet Platt?
Janet Platt,
Platt.
And so she does a live every week
On rulers.
on rulers, yeah. Different
that's
different
cool.
ways, yeah. So go there.
Wow.
Madeira hem, finishing the bishop, Madeira hem, visible zipper, neck binding, mock dress, feather stitch.
Somebody said they found the feather stitch difficult. And Connie, what'd you write?
You and me both. I mean, you can do it, but it is a little tricky. That again would probably be Gildan. You know, she's all handwork, and that's really wonderful. Peter Pan collars. So it's just on and on and on. So, and a lot of them are the same. So we'll make a list, and then we'll start, you know, from the top. We'll hit it.
But you're going to love what she selected today because this came from several of you asking about the Madeira hem.
Right.
And Madeira is...
It's just attaching a piece of fabric to another piece of fabric. It's really, they started out like it's Madeira applique. So they had little flowers and birds and all kinds of stuff, and they'd applicate them with a pin stitch, a hand pin stitch to a piece of fabric. Like there's lots of, you see, hand tassels,
the
beautiful,
little hankies too,
yeah,
with beautiful little Madeira applique.
right. So, I only do it by machine. I have done it by hand, and somebody wanted to buy it and could not understand why it was so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So I just said, well, you know, that's not something that you want to sell, I guess. So it's very pretty, and if you have time to do it by hand, it's not that hard because it's really the start of the base of the same thing. It's just that it's faster for me to do it on the machine. So, and I think I have pin stitch too, how to do pin stitch on my YouTube. If not, we'll do it here. So.
All right, so what do we need to do to get started?
We're going to talk first on the notions that you would need to do Madeira applique.
Okay. All right.
First thing, you're going to need some kind of a marking pen. Now, it's entirely up to the person. I like this style of pen by Soline because it has a ceramic ball inside, so it goes very smoothly, and you know, it doesn't dry.
Ahead just a minute so they can see what that looks like in the package.
And so I'll open it up and see there's just a little tip on there, and see how nice, nice thin line. Looking to see what it is. Okay, so that's the first thing.
Okay.
And then you would need something to get that color out, unless you were going to wash the whole garment.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
So that's where the blue line eraser comes in. This blue line eraser, you just squirt it on, and your blue line will go away. So you just spray it on, and in a few minutes that's going to go away. And I've sprayed one of these and pressed it and everything else, so it doesn't come back. So it's like my favorite thing. I'm like, I'm not going to do without that. Because, you know, usually if you dab it with just a little bit of water, then all the blue does is just spread out.
It does. Even you do a little squirt of water.
Water, you have to soak the whole thing. You know, you could, it'll come out. You just have to soak the whole thing. And I don't want to. Yeah. So,
that's my
but
blue line eraser.
You know, if I do my buttonholes and I use the marker, I don't want to wash the garment then.
Right.
Like I just finished Martha Pullen's christening gown for her grandchild.
It's really, really
pretty.
Gorgeous.
So you'll be seeing that shortly.
Yeah,
I'm not going into there, but
pretty.
I don't want to wash it. So there's way too much stuff on that one.
Yeah.
So it's the pen, the wash away stuff. You need a point turner of some sort that is pointy, not the one that has the ball at the end, because you're going to wad up your points, you know, the fabric in your points. So you want to have
got a couple
different kinds.
Yeah, there are different kinds.
There are all kinds. So, and then you're going to want some pins. My favorite pins are these magic pins, either the quilting pins or the patchwork pins. And the patchwork pins are a little shorter. They're the ones I use for lace shaping now, because they're really they're shorter and they're very thin. Very thin.
They come in a fine. They come in fine, regular, and extra fine.
Yeah. So But
And
I
in
use these
hundreds
two.
and
Yeah,
50s.
hundreds. Yeah, you can get a pack of 100 or you can get a pack of 50. You might as well get 100.
No, I'll crawl around on my floor and pick up pins that have fallen.
Especially those.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Yeah,
they're a
these,
little more
yeah,
expensive.
you want to, but the ones I have, you probably wouldn't have wanted to use.
Right. But those also have heat resistant tops
I
on them.
know. This is the
And they're
amazing,
flat.
amazing
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
And
I call
plus
them
you
coffin pins. Don't go there with me, but well, doesn't that look like a little coffin?
Can, yes.
But if you go in a store and ask for a coffin,
I don't think
they won't
they'll
know what you're talking about. Connie
Those
thought they were coffin
pins.
pins. All right, so now back to this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now we also have to have a certain thread, a water soluble thread, to do this technique. Okay. And this is Vanish. It's called Vanish by Superior Threads. This is a really good one. This is light, and then there's a heavier one. So I usually use the light one, but this is extra, so it's a little bit heavier if you had some fabric that was a little heavier. But for the lightweight fabric, you want these.
Okay.
But that's a must, okay? And you only need one spool. I don't wind it on a bobbin. I'll go about that in just a little bit when I start talking about this. So pretty much did we cover you need spray starch. We also would want
I didn't
pressing
bring a pressing partner.
partners. Sally sells a product called pressing partners that we came
I'll
up with
get
a
you
long
piece of
time
wood.
ago.
Yeah, we did. We did.
I said, you got to put those together. But
we can just show a
Yeah,
little. Here's a piece of wool.
it
and,
has wool and a piece of
of-
silk organza
yes,
for the pressing
yes.
cloth. And silk organza is great because you can see through it, but it, won't
right.
mark up your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really the things that you need. Seems like a lot, but most of you have this stuff,
Right.
really.
Yeah.
And you need some good scissors for trimming. So now, let's get started. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do
You want me to
Is-
open your water?
No, yeah, maybe I should. The first thing you're going to do is decide if you're going to make a skirt bottom, or are you making just the front of a collar or the front of a bodice. Okay, because we're going to trace it a little bit differently for those things. If you're doing a skirt bottom, you need a front and a back. So you do 2 pieces of fabric, right sides together. However wide your skirts are, that's how wide your strip is
Oh,
going to be.
In a color.
Yeah.
In the band.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Whatever you're going to, like it
Okay.
could be the same color as your skirt, or it could be a different color. It could be, white skirt with a different color Madeira
Okay.
hem.
All right.
If you're doing a collar, like a round collar, oops, that's not the right one. Oh, please tell me I still have that one. Oh, here it is. If you're doing like a bodice front or just a collar, you wouldn't need 2 pieces. You would need 1 piece folded in half. Okay, so here's a fold. All right, so on the skirt, you see I just traced the scallops all the way across.
Okay.
Right? But on the collar or the bodice, I have a fold, so I only have half of the pattern. And you want to make sure, and you might want to write this down. If you're doing one on a fold, you want to make sure that you don't have a point on the fold, that you have half of the scallop on the fold. Because as you turn it right side out, it's a lot easier to come out right with the scallop than it is with the point.
Right.
Does that make sense to
I'm
everybody?
gonna go to the overhead while you
Yeah.
point. Do that. Show that again.
Okay. So on the skirt, I'm going to use 2 pieces, right? I'm going to use 2 pieces because one will be the front, one will be the back. So I can
Right.
just do scallops all the way across. But if I'm doing a bodice or a collar, I don't need 2 pieces. I need 1 folded in half. So here's my fold right here.
But I don't understand why you have that fold.
Because when I open it up, it'll be 1 long piece. I'm going to open it up in just a minute.
Okay.
So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
It's okay. Because if you're confused, so is someone else out there. See, these are already long,
Right.
but I need a short one. So when I trace this on the scallop on this, I want to only trace half of the scallop first next to my fold, and then the rest of the scallop. So when I turn this right side out and press it and hold it open, now I'll have one big piece.
Okay.
Okay? So the first thing we have to do is we have to use our pen. We're going to trace, whatever, however way we're doing it. And then you're going to trim, leaving about 1/8 of an inch of seam allowance.
Okay.
Now, you need to have that as smooth as you can, as even as you can.
Well, you traced, but then you have to sew next.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, sorry. Did I miss that step?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's very clever. We're going to trace. And then you're going to put this on your sewing machine.
So
Thank
that's going to
goodness.
go on the top, right?
On the top. You don't
Okay.
need it at the top and bottom.
Okay.
Because
all right.
once you put water on it or starch on it, it's going to disappear. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, you know.
Right.
Like I have blue thread on the back of this, but it doesn't, you know.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
okay. So that goes on the top. Now, if you ever have a problem with your machine that breaks the thread, because it's pretty tender, then you will have to wind a bobbin, put it in the bobbin, but put thread on the top of your machine.
Oh, okay.
So just
Yeah.
watch how that happens.
Okay.
Those something. So then you're going to sew.
Yep.
Then you're going to trim. Well, when you're sewing, you're going to sew along, shorten your stitch length.
Right.
I used to do about 1.8, something like that.
Because it makes a better
1.5.
curve, right?
It's either
Okay.
goes
yeah,
right around.
Yeah.
But at the point, you're going to do one stitch over before you come down. You're not
Right.
going to go up and then straight back down.
Right.
Do one stitch over. Even though it's small, when we get ready to turn it right
Yeah.
side out, that's going to leave more room for all that fabric to
That's
go
right.
up in there.
Okay.
Okay. So then trim, but lop off the top of your mountains there. And then we're going to, after we've trimmed, we're going to turn it right side out.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Now, here's what we're going to do. As soon as I thought, there it is. You will need a point turner, but when I turn these, let's see, we're still on the right. Okay.
Yeah.
I usually stick my finger up inside there,
Yeah.
and then I take this left side over here, because I'm right-handed, and I push that whole seam allowance over towards my thumb, and then I just push it right up there, and usually you'll have a point right off the bat. You see that?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I have to use this, but a lot of times all I have to do is take my fingers like this and go wiggle, 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 and that point will go right
Oh,
up.
that's a good
See?
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see that.
See?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to do another one.
Okay.
Stick my finger up in there, pull that towards me, push that right up there, and then wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So now I have it turned right side out. Now this is my center for my collar, remember? Because we have a, there. So now that we have our pieces ready, this piece, or it would be that piece, whatever. Now we're going to press. Okay, so I've got one here ready to press.
Okay, I'm getting it now
Yeah.
that you really only are going to use one layer of this on your skirt. And you're not going to use two layers, are you?
One for the front, one for the back.
You got. Okay, because
And then the collar, I only need one layer, so that's why I fold in half.
Okay.
Yeah. But
it.
the most important thing is that you don't put that point there.
That's right.
That's
right.
really
Yeah.
the
Okay.
kicker.
Okay.
All right. So once we've got it turned right side out, the first thing you're going to do is just give it a press so that you get a good crease.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
But you better not wet it.
Don't wet it yet.
Yeah.
Just crease it.
Because you'll lose your thread. Your thread will melt. Dissolve.
But we want it to melt in a minute.
Not yet,
Yeah.
right?
So what I do now is I put a
I'm gonna-
towel. Do I need to bring this over here?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But I hate for it
That's all right. All our little beautiful
to.
things.
Okay.
I put a towel on my ironing board.
I'll go back to the overhead. Okay.
I put a towel on my ironing board because you're going to get a lot of starch on there. And you
Right.
don't want to starch and then iron with all that wet starch that's on your ironing board.
Oh.
You'll mess up your ironing board
Right.
anyway.
Right.
We got one over there.
Yeah. It's
So-
pretty rough.
So we don't want to do that, right?
know.
So
I
what
know,
I
it
do
looks
is I put a
terrible.
towel and I just take my towel and then I spray.
Okay, bring it a little closer to
Okay,
you so
sorry.
they can see. Yeah,
I
there
spray,
you go.
spray.
Uh-huh.
Let it sit for a few minutes. When I say a few minutes, I'm not saying 2 minutes.
Oh, you're
Hold
like
me.
10 minutes.
No, not even 10
Oh.
minutes. I mean, not even a minute.
Oh,
probably.
you're
I'm
talking
just
about
letting
a
it
few
soak in.
seconds.
A few seconds. I was letting it soak in so it gets front and back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's when we're going to use the present. Now we're going to move it away from where we spray starched.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, because
Yeah.
we only want to dry this, not
Right.
our towel.
Okay.
It's a very good tip, I can tell you. Now you're going to use your silk organza, and you're going to press till it's dry. Now you're not going to go
Yeah.
with pressing, because as that dissolves, then your layers are going to go
Oh,
back
yeah,
and forth.
yeah.
So you just want to press till it's dry,
Right.
like this. Press till it's dry. You'll probably have to turn it over and press the other side too. Okay, but make sure you use a press cloth. Then when you're all done pressing, you'll simply start pulling it apart. And of course, when you're doing a demo, sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't always work. There we
Oh,
go.
look at that.
So it just pops apart, you see? And don't, now I've just wet this one, so
Yeah.
when you get a little, come up and it's a little bit harder, then you're going to stop, and maybe you need a little more starch. Maybe you can just take your scissors and snip that one little thread. Don't just like do what I just did
Yeah.
and rip it open, because see, that's too
Right.
hard. You'd have to either use your scissors
or wet it
or wet it again. So, but be careful when you wet it again. So
Yeah.
now we have our whole seam allowance, our whole hem is, pressed to the wrong
Right.
side perfectly, without
Right.
using a needle and a thread.
And also without burning your fingers.
Right.
When you try to,
Right.
if you try to hold down
Oh,
an eighth of an inch or a
Yeah.
quarter of an inch, and
Right.
you're trying to do this and you're
Right.
burning your fingers.
So this just works so
Wow.
well.
So look at
Well,
here.
it would be 2 pieces, but it's
I know, but look.
it's perfect.
Wow.
And see the points? I mean, the points are
Yes.
nice, and
Very nice.
Yeah. that one's a little wet.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
neat. Okay.
So now, the next step.
Okay.
We're done with the starch
All right.
and all that. Now we have one. Are we in?
I'll go back to
Okay.
overhead. Uh-huh.
Now we have 2 pieces because
Okay.
we've pulled it apart, right?
Uh-huh.
So now we want to sew this piece to our skirt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to put the right side of the scallop
Mhm.
to the wrong side of the skirt,
Ah,
and you're going to sew a seam, trim it to an 1/8,
right.
and then you're going to understitch it. Very important to understitch it, because that way when you press this hem, it just presses right up.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So you would do both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point you're going to have to attach the 2 skirt sides
Mhm.
together, but it's easy. Yeah. They'll be
And
matched
so
up.
do you do it when you attach both sides together? You just open that up and no, you don't do
Yeah,
that.
there's a couple of different ways you can do
Okay.
it. We can, so
We probably don't need
you
to hit on
can
that today.
right. You can sew up your skirts.
Right.
Okay, sew both sides.
Yeah.
And then you can take this and measure it to your skirt, and sew the same
Mhm.
seam allowances in both sides of this. So you have 2 circles, a circle skirt and a
Mhm.
circle band.
Mhm.
Pin them together
Mhm.
and then flip them up. Or you can sew them like this and then sew down, and then flip it up.
Mhm.
Got it?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
now, last thing, very last thing. I would like to
Okay,
pin
I'm gonna let
these.
him look at your face for a minute.
Okay. Oh, boy. Are we backed up so there's not too many wrinkles? So it's talking about last night. Woo, there's a mess on that. Now, here's where I use the glue. Okay? Because when you pin, a lot of times then when you start
Oh,
doing your
yes,
pin
yeah.
stitch, this slides.
It does.
Okay?
Yeah.
So all you've got to do is just go along here, put some glue, right?
Yeah.
And then glue it down.
Look at that, people.
Now, that's perfect.
Whoa.
See?
Can you see through it and see that?
Yeah.
See that pretty scallop? You can see it in the back
Mhm.
even. That's pretty.
And then of course you would need stabilizer and a 110 needle. That gets into your pin stitch.
So the
Which-
stabilizer, it's like a tear away or a
Yeah,
wash
I
away
use
or
Tear
something.
Easy by Sulky, because that tears away real cleanly.
Right.
So
And that's going to go
behind the whole
behind
thing,
everything.
Right.
Kinda
Don't
like
ever
when
do
we
a pin stitch without
without a
stabilizer,
stabilizer.
right.
Okay. And then the 110 needle is like a jeans needle, right?
It's like a
It's
jeans
yeah,
needle.
Yeah.
You can get a 110 a 100 or a 110, either a top stitch needle or a jeans needle. Yeah. I like just a big hole. I don't like to use a wing needle on this because I use a really small, the part that zigs and zags into the hem is small. So the wing needle a lot of times is so wide that it just cuts this, you know, because it doesn't go way in.
But is there, I mean, I know most people now don't use a wing needle for this.
Right.
But tell me what they would use that wing needle for then.
I use it for if I'm sewing on linen and I want to do a pin stitch on linen without anything.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I just want
that pretty look.
Right, right.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It almost looks like an entrecot.
Right, right. Or you can, you know, or you can do the entrecot stitch with the wing needle.
Oh, but you're not attaching.
I'm not attaching anything.
Because if you were attaching lace, that can cut your lace too.
That cut your lace too. Yeah. I mean, we used to always do it, but then I found that some of my stuff was kind of falling apart.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I had heard.
So,
well, that is awesome.
so, were there any questions, or they're just totally
I
confused?
think they're just focusing.
Oh, thank goodness.
I am too. I'm like, hey, how did you do that?
Yeah. But the glue at the end is
That's essential.
sometimes because
isn't it?
now it won't slide.
I mean,
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
wow.
And you would put the glue in the whole pen.
Yeah. I know my fingers got so ooky.
Now I have ran out of refills, which is not a happy time.
Yeah.
I've used a screwdriver to dig down in there.
Right.
Because, you know, I was down to the last
You know,
plain
and the other thing is
glue
that
pen chicken.
Yeah. Use my glue to glue the buttons on a garment and before I sew them with my sewing machine.
Right.
Yes.
We do have a question.
Yeah.
Susan says, how is the stabilizer used?
You just put it, Susan, that's a good question. You just put it behind to stabilize when you're using a large needle and a multi-motion stitch. You need something to stabilize this fabric because it's so fine. So as long as you put stabilizer underneath there, and it needs to be, you know, not a heavy stabilizer like that. Tear Easy by Sulky is the one that I really like. Now you might have another one that you really like. That's fine. I'm not saying that's
We have 2 or 3 different kinds of tearaways because we like to use them. We like to use them for buttonholes.
Buttonholes.
I
I
put
have
them
to.
behind buttonholes all the time. Yeah.
I save all my scraps.
Oh, I know because you can use a little tiny piece for your buttonholes.
Right. I don't use paper. Okay. I don't use paper.
Me either anymore. Can you believe that?
Oh, thank goodness. Because paper just perforates as you're sewing. You know, it does help, but you don't have anything left.
Yeah, the Tear Easy is a little bit more fibrous. Or
right,
something
exactly.
Like that.
So, and it tears away as long as I usually tear up and over like this, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Vicky says, we love the pro tips. I want to sew like Connie when I grow up. And then,
Bless your heart.
And then Marilyn said she's not sure what a pin stitch is.
Okay.
And then one more thing, somebody said you mentioned zigzag stitch? Question mark.
Did I?
Well, I don't remember hearing the zigzags.
You said you.
Oh, it's the zig and the zag part of the stitch. Because what happens is here. Do you have a pen? Oh, I'll just draw it off. We have everything but a pen.
I have a pen.
Okay.
And I have a paper.
Here, I'll use this.
Here, look here.
Oh, yeah. So a pin stitch.
And I'm going to go to the overhead.
Yeah. A pin stitch looks like this on your screen of your sewing machine. So it'll be a continuous thing that looks like this. Okay? So what it does, it goes 1, 2, 3 on the straight stitch part, and then zig and zag on the zigzag part. So this is either going over a header on your lace or going into your hem of your piece. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, like that.
Oh, okay. So your straight line, your zig goes onto the fold.
Right.
Okay.
The 1, 2, 3, the straight stitch part is on the single fabric only.
Right.
Does that answer that question? We'll do it even more on the next time because I'll have it all drawn off. and know where to, because you're going to use an open toe foot. You need to know where the dot needs to go, blah, 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 so you can get a really good look. Right?
Yeah, I love the way it looks. Too.
Yeah, I do
think
too.
It's
It's
really,
very beautiful.
Very pretty.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Nope. Sharon said thank you. That
Okay.
answered her question.
Okay, good. But if you haven't done it, you have no idea, like, what is it?
Yeah.
So, but you have to know how to go around the points. You know how to stop it so it stops at the point. So that's what we'll do on the next thing.
Because you're curving too.
Well,
so
you're curving, so you got to have your needle stop down on so the foot lifts up. But
right.
once you get to the point, you have to end the pattern before you pivot, or you're going to go out into the air.
Oh, right,
So
right. Yeah.
You'll have these little strings
Yeah.
out there. So we'll learn all that too.
Good. Well, I love that. I love that.
But Sally had one more thing that she wanted me to talk about. So if everybody is good with this, I'll talk about that.
All
Christmas
right.
dress.
All right. You want this? You want to sip?
Sure.
So, I wish I could remember the year that Connie designed this for us. My goodness, Connie.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but this was a definite classic. And so this is the Christmas tree dress. It's Lucy by Children's Corner, and it's red corduroy. And then we've done it in twill before,
Oh, yeah,
red
there's
twill,
all
and
kinds of stuff.
line and ruffle out of
Spaghetti bias.
well the
Oh.
gingham, the red
Oh, yeah,
gingham,
yeah. Sorry.
and
I'm ahead of you.
then spaghetti bias for the Christmas tree.
Right.
And then Connie just designed this. This is her.
This is
her
when
design.
Sally first got in spaghetti bias, and we were like, what are we going to
Yes,
do with this stuff? We got to
yes.
figure out something to do because this is really cool. I went freaked out right away. I was like, yes.
I know it was fun.
It was fun coming up with things.
So then every time I look at a piece of fabric, I think
Oh, that could be spaghetti
that could be
bias.
spaghetti bias. And so we use this is a Fabric Finders tricolor in all the greens, which was really cool. And the tree is made out of spaghetti bias, and then also spaghetti bias is sewn above the ruffle. And so
There should be a.
here's a template. So included in the kit is a template.
This
And
was
this
in So
says-
Beautiful too.
Yeah.
Way back when. So
Christmas tree
yeah.
template by Connie Palmer.
Right. Now, when I first designed this, we didn't have a glue pen.
Oh,
I just pinned it
wow.
on.
Wow.
We've come a long way, baby.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm going to the overhead so
Yeah.
you can see what she's doing here.
Now, spaghetti bias doesn't really have a right and wrong side, but it does because one side has a seam and that's the wrong side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what you do now, because we have a glue pen, is you just start gluing, or you can glue on here, see? And you'll just start shaping this around, and you can use some pins on it till you get it shaped and pressed. Whoops, sorry. It's hard to do on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of comes off of the paper. But
Fabric to fabric works a lot
fabric
better,
to fabric
doesn't
works really good. So you can pin it, and once you get it all on there, then just give it a press, and all those will just smash right
Oh.
down.
Yeah,
Now-
because it's cut on the bias, so
Right,
it'll form
all
together or spread
And then
out.
the bigger you get, the easier
yeah,
it is. I'm on
yeah,
the really
that's-
hard
that's
one.
yeah, you are.
Now, to sew it on, when I first did it, I did a twin needle,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because that's what I thought of. the
Yeah,
twin needle
Right.
fit, I think it might have been a 3.0, I think.
Well, one of them fit
It
perfectly.
fit right on there.
Yeah.
But then I decided that was too hard. In classes, I'd have to have a twin needle, and I'd have to have 2 spools of thread, and so on and so forth. So I try to cut things back. So I used a stitch called a triple zigzag. It's on about every sewing machine ever. It's a utility stitch, and it looks like
I'm gonna
this.
go
Yeah.
to the overhead so she can draw it out for you.
It goes like this, a triple zigzag. It goes 1, 2, 3. Now I'm making it really big.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1, 2, 3, like that. So as you're sewing along that, it doesn't draw it up or tunnel it.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it lay flat. Now I would use white thread on this.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to see it. You'll see it, but you don't visually when you
right,
you don't
right.
pay any attention to it.
Mhm.
It's not like a decorative stitch that
Yeah.
somebody put on there. It's just, now this lays flat.
Right.
Because sometimes when you're trying to pivot this small with a twin needle, it's very difficult. And you might get a kind of big hunk there, you know, on these smaller ones. So anytime that you see that I've done spaghetti vise, I always now do this triple zigzag.
That's good to know.
So,
and also, it's good to know that you say white thread because,
Yeah.
you know, people ask that question all the
Right.
time about what color
'Cause
thread
should I use
you
green or
use.
should I use white?
I know.
Now, if I'm using navy blue solid
Yeah.
spaghetti vise, and I'm
Right.
going to use navy blue
Yeah,
thread,
that's
but
right.
you know, any of
That's
these
right.
ginghams or anything, I just
Yeah.
use white
Yeah.
white thread. Okay.
So we were trying to decide how many of these
We've
kits.
sold.
We probably had there's some little girl, and then she did a John too.
Yeah.
Some little girl and boy in every city in the United States
Has one.
and maybe and maybe elsewhere. That is
I
where-
finally bought a kit not too long ago. I thought maybe I should make one. A
That's
new
funny.
one.
But that
new
is
one.
the cutest.
Yeah.
And when Connie first made it, we had the most perfect buttons. They
Buttons.
look like little ornaments. They came
Right.
from JHB.
Yeah.
And we had hundreds of those, but
Yeah,
we
but they're
worked for
gone.
those. And then we looked everywhere for ornament buttons that we couldn't find anything that
No.
worked. So
So
now we use
covered buttons.
covered buttons.
Yeah,
in
that-
there.
Yeah, that just serves the purpose. I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah.
shows what it needs to be.
It's
You could
just
put
like
bows
little
on there
ornaments.
too if you want
Yeah,
to.
that's true.
You know, whatever you want.
That'd
Not
be-
on the boys, but
Right.
But-
That's cute.
so anyway,
That's
if does anybody have any questions about that? Somebody, a lot of people have asked
Yeah,
about that,
yeah.
and so they wanted to see if I would, you know, kind of home in on that.
Well, I hate to ask this question,
Huh? Okay.
but I will ask
Okay.
because I'm not sure how to answer it.
Okay.
How do you transfer the
This?
tree
Oh, yeah.
template to
okay.
a piece of
That's
fabric?
really a good point. That's a really good point. What I did is I poked holes in it.
Okay, I'm gonna go
All the way
back.
down.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. I poked holes in it
Oh.
like this, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I used some chalk. or,
Yeah.
You know, they have those. There's some kind of chalk they use for quilting. You know, whatever it is. But I just used some chalk, and I went in those holes.
Very good, because you look at it and think, there's no way I
No.
can put red corduroy over that
No.
and see through it and
That's
trace
it.
that.
You got to figure out anytime you have a dark fabric. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Because we have that question a lot.
Oh, I
and they're like,
bet.
oh man, I hope they don't ask me that question.
I, well, for one thing, they may think of that, but then say, "Is that right?"
Right.
You know, they may
Right.
already have
Yeah.
thought that. Yes.
So Suzanne says, I made both the jumper and John 10 years ago. All fabric and trends from Farmhouse. Yes, I had the ornament buttons. Cutest
Okay.
outfits I ever made.
Yes.
It's so cute.
I love that outfit.
It's just a simple outfit,
I know,
but it's classic.
it
It's
is
turned
classic.
into a sort of a cult thing.
Yeah.
You know, not really. That's
Here's a
not
question to put you on the spot.
Oh boy.
Vicky says, you keep saying next time. Are you going to be a regular guest on Gab and Gush?
Yeah. She said I could keep coming back.
She can keep coming back. We
But-
told her that.
I know, but I'll be back a couple of times before the 1st of December because I got to go to Martha's because, you know, Gloria McKinnon comes from England to teach her classes. Now, I help her, but I don't help in the class. I'm food service.
Oh. Hey, this lady can cook.
I don't
She
even
makes-
cook.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I can't believe it.
No,
You
I don't
make a
cook.
great
No,
food.
I don't
Oh,
cook,
my
but I make sure
goodness.
that we have all the matching stuff that we need. The tables are set.
Yeah.
I go right over to Publix.
Yeah.
I order
You
the
take
food. I
the
make
food?
sure. No,
Yeah.
I make a delivery
Uh-huh,
date.
uh-huh.
You know, delivery time and all that. So I just make sure because they have 2 breaks a day and lunch. That's a lot of food, okay?
That is a lot
I
of
mean, you
food.
run into one another.
When we first started having classes here,
Oh, I love to
Connie
cook.
was our advisor.
Yeah.
And some of the best recipes we have come from you.
Yeah.
But she said when you have classes, one of the best things you can do is feed people.
Good food.
Good food, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like,
Yeah.
hey, I really
you know,
enjoyed
when
my
Peggy and I
class.
traveled, oh gosh, 17, 20 years with biking for the Martha Cullen,
That would be Peggy Dilbone.
Peggy Dilbone, my best friend. And
Oh,
people-
your best friend.
no, you are. She's a
Sorry,
BFF.
Peggy.
You're a BFF. We, would give out papers every day, and they'd have to fill them out, like how was it, this and that and other thing. You want to know the main things that people critiqued were
the food?
food and the air conditioning.
Oh.
One lady, I'll never forget it because I was like, are you kidding me? She said, I didn't like the green beans on Thursday.
Oh.
And I turned around to Peggy, I said, did we have green beans
Yeah,
on
that's
Thursday?
right.
I'm like, I don't even know what we had. I'm like, so
Oh,
it's, they really got
man.
particular. When you give a woman
Yeah.
a piece of paper,
Yeah.
okay, and say, write down your likes and dislikes, they're going to do it.
Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Judy
How-
Donnelly says Connie is 100% the real deal.
Yeah. Bless her heart. She is so sweet. I haven't seen her for a while.
And then great news that you'll be coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to come down so often, because I start missing the kids so bad. I start watching their videos, and,
Aw.
I'm like, okay, it's time to go. I know. Boy, I cried last night when that kid walked on the field.
Oh. It's hard to
Oh,
believe
boy.
he's
Yeah,
a senior, right?
He's a
Yeah,
senior. He'll graduate in the spring, and then, no, he was 2 pounds and 11 ounces when he was born.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did Carter's christening gown.
Yeah,
A lot of
that's
people did
right,
Carter's
that's
christening
right,
gown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Was that was in the in So Beautiful magazine,
Uh-huh.
wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, his little,
Yeah.
his picture is in there, so cute. So, anyway.
That's neat.
Oh, that's so much fun. I
That
hope
is-
everybody understood everything. You can always write it down and
But go to Connie
Palmer
Palmer
Sewing.
Sewing.
Palmer
Connie
Sewing.
Palmer Sewing on YouTube.
yeah.
Yeah.
And make sure you join or whatever you do.
Yeah.
I'm so up on this stuff. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
They're whispering. Subscribe.
Hit the bell for
That's right,
notifications.
that's
Yeah,
right.
and hit the bell for notifications.
Whatever that means, I don't know.
Oh,
what that
see,
means.
she doesn't know either. Well, I appreciate y'all having me. I'll tell you what, I can
love
talk for the
it.
rest
I
of the
love
day,
it.
but
It's good.
I really
We
can.
can tell
Oh,
them about this
Yeah.
silk bundle. This
oh, we have to.
glob
Don't
of
you have to
silk.
draw something?
Yeah, we're gonna draw
Okay.
something. We got our drawings
Oh,
right
okay.
down here.
I hope I didn't throw trash in there. Sorry. Yep.
Oh, here's a.
They're clean.
No, just kidding.
I thought it was.
It's not in there.
I put it underneath here so it would be out of the way. Okay, sorry.
Okay. So we had somebody call us about our silk bundle. And this is just something that I made up because, I love silk. And I have these boxes of silk pieces, and I always think, hey, I'm going to do this or this or this with it. And I haven't done this or this or this with it.
I get it.
And so I thought, why don't I just make an assortment?
that. I
So
mean, that's-
this is $15 for this assortment. But I mean, there are big pieces, little pieces, weird pieces, cut pieces with bias. A lot of them came from clothing manufacturers. But it's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So it's only $15, and we happen to be having a 15% coupon sale this weekend for everything, just about everything on the website. There are a couple things that don't apply to it. Doesn't apply to gift certificates or pleaters, but I mean, people have cashed in on the silk bundles.
That's nice.
The purse, and you want to use velvets and silks. This is neat. We do have a gentleman in the area that makes pocket squares, men's
Oh,
pocket squares,
nice.
and he buys a lot of our silk,
Alright.
a lot of the silk. But I wanted to highlight that because that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
And now we have a drawing.
Yes.
So there it is.
It's right here.
And so
Doesn't
Our-
have my trash in it.
no, it doesn't. Oh, but here's the. So it's this big old pile of stuff that Emma and I found. Includes
Even
these
cookie cutters.
cool little cookie cutters. Yeah. And
all kinds of
interfacing
stuff.
and trims and wool, and this is a crepe back satin polyester. There's a big piece of that. So, all right, Connie, who's going to be the lucky winner? The lucky winner is Sheila Young Vickner. Oh, she
Peter
says,
Pan collars.
I guess Peter Pan collars would be the worst thing to sew. I think I overthink while doing them, which
You
makes
probably
them
do.
difficult
Yeah.
for me.
Mhm.
And she loves Gavin Gush.
Yeah.
So
We love her.
thank you, Sheila. We love you too. Yeah. All right, now we're going to have to get Christy to come and turn this camera off so that we don't have to stand here and look.
Pretty for
Yeah. Smile sweet. I could say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Hi, everybody.